welcome back to yet another Leverage Edu live session. The topic that we'll be covering today is the ultimate document checklist for applying to your dream school in the UK. I am Mahima Baindur and I am a head coach with the Leverage Edu team here. If you are someone who's looking to apply to your dream school, stay tuned and keep watching. So, applying to the UK for graduate schools and programs is definitely not an easy task. There are a lot of documents and requirements that you need to adhere to. But we at Leverage Edu make it a lot easy for you. I still remember how I was overwhelmed and nervous seeing all the requirements and documents that I would need for my dream university. I wondered probably how long it would actually take me to get all these in place. But now that I'm watching things from the other side, I am listing out the documents and the things that you will need for applying as well. So first and foremost, the first document you need is your transcripts. Grades are an extremely important aspect of any application. It's basically a fundamental proof that you as a student can thrive at a B school. Moving on, what sort of transcripts are actually needed? This is a very common question I get asked all the time. So you have two kinds of transcripts. Number one, official, and number two, unofficial. So while filling out your application form on any university website, you will need unofficial transcripts. What are these unofficial transcripts? They are basically scanned copies of your transcripts, sealed, scanned copies signed by a university but are uploaded by you. Moving on, the next most important aspect is also your GPA. So basically in India, schools and universities follow different grading scales and different marking schemes, right? Usually you have a 5-pointer, a 5-pointer, a 4-pointer and a 10-pointer grading scale. Some schools even have percentages, right? But the standardized grading scale utilized by the UK is the 4-pointer grading scale, and a minimum of 3 out of 4 is required for you to apply. So one key tip here is, I think you all should budget enough amounts of time, because number one, universities take a lot of time to process your transcripts, and I would ideally suggest having one scanned copy with you and having at least 3 to 5 sealed copies from the university. Moving on, the next document is the resume. Okay, the resume is a fundamental piece of paper that is needed for every program in every school. So let me tell you a fun fact here. I am sure you all know about this, that a recruiter or any admissions officer at least just spends 7 seconds skimming through your resume, not more than that. So I'm just going to provide you with a quick checklist of the things that you need to add to your resume. First is your personal details, which is your name, email address, LinkedIn handle, etc. Second would be your education, where you'll have your name of the university, name of the programs, a couple of modules studied, your grades and relevant courses, and obviously dates of attendance, right? Next, we'll have work history or your past experience. Your most recent one comes first. So you'll have the name of the organization, your job description, and what did you do in the role. You can have short one-liner bullets, but make sure that you have quantifiable achievements in it. Fourth is your academic projects. You can talk about a bunch of projects that you might have worked on at university. It could be an individual project or a group project as well. And you just need to give a brief description of what you did. Next, we have awards and honors and social impact and community service, right? Awards would be any particular awards that you won at university or at your workplace. And social impact and community would mainly, you talk about your organization which you worked with and your role over there. And last would be your skills and interests. This is what comprises of a comprehensive resume. Third most important requirement, I would say, would be the English tests. You can either choose to take your IELTS, the TOEFL or the PTE. So, and if you've completed your undergraduation outside of the UK, you need to show them that you are proficient in the English language. If you're taking up the IELTS, a minimum of 7 points is needed. if you're taking up the TOEFL, then you at least need a minimum of 84, right? And since all of us have studied in universities where the medium of education was English, IELTS is not a tough exam to crack. You just need to prepare a little. And just to tell you a little more, both of these exams have 4 sections. You have speaking, writing, reading, and listening. And once you book the test, you'll also be provided with a couple of study materials through your test center. Even here at Leverage Edu, we have a comprehensive test prep team which will handhold you through the whole process from start to the end. Next, the fourth most important document is your SOP. It is your statement of purpose or your motivation statement. Now, this is one section, guys, where you can actually make your case. Okay, now I'll tell you all. Imagine the situation, okay? You as a student are there, and there's another individual who's wanting to apply to the same dream university as yours. Both of you all have similar GPAs, similar test scores and grades, right? And there's only one seat left. So in that situation, how do you prove to the ADCOM that you are worthy of that last seat, right? So the SOP will help you make your case here. The SOP will help you answer questions like why this school, why this program, what are you as an individual that would bring to the school, then what would you gain from the university as well. These are questions that an SOP answers, which will help you differentiate yourself, right? Now, if I have to talk about a structure, right? What sort of an SOP structure would you actually follow? First is you'll have your introduction. Next bit would be your background. Third would be why this program and why this university, which will be extremely university specific, your career goals, and lastly would be a conclusion, right? This is a standardized format for an SOP, but for some schools and universities, this might differ. So if you look at schools like Imperial and LBS, you have separate question answers which comprise of the SOP. Next up, we have the LORs or the letters of recommendation. Now, this is one document that you might or might not have much control over, because this is something that your professors write for you, right? So some schools ask for just 2 letters of recommendation, whereas some might ask for 3, right? And each school has different requirements when it comes to writing the SOP. So you also need to know the difference between a professional recommendation whereas an academic recommendation. Now, it also depends upon the programs that you're applying for. So tomorrow, if you decide to apply for an MBA program, then 2 professional recommendations would be the best. If you're applying for a specialized master's program, then you can either have 1 academic or one academic and 1 professional based on the amount of experience. But if you're applying to B school straight after undergraduation, then 2 academic would be the best. Now, again, another pro tip here would be reach out to your recommenders well in advance. One, because the period when you apply for schools, right? A lot of students are in the same boat as you. So, you can always notify your teachers that you would be applying so that they would, budget some time out and write a solid recommendation letter for you. So in most of the cases, you have a letter format LOR, but in some schools, again, you might have an LOR which is in the form of a questionnaire, right? Next up, we have application form, the application form. Now, ideally, this is something that I should have covered right in the beginning, but I chose to talk about it here because it's an overall aspect of the application, right? So, ideally, every school has a very direct application form which asks you for your basic details. You ideally need to create credentials for every school, fill out your basic details, and then you need to upload all the above mentioned documents to complete your application. Once that's done, the next step would be the application fee. Now, an application fee is mandatory for most of the schools. Usually, schools in the UK would charge you per application would be around £60 to £120. This is a fee that admission officers, admissions and universities take to review your application. Now, in some circumstances, if you're facing monetary hardships, you also might be accountable for a fee waiver. In some schools, if you attend coffee chats and coffee webinars, they also provide you with a fee waiver code which you can put and get that fee waiver. And after this, you don't need to do anything. You just need to click the send button. And I think clicking the send button is the most gratifying feeling ever, post which your waiting game begins. Now there is always anticipation and anxiety, waiting to know what your decision would be. Okay, so these are the most common documents that you need for applying to schools in the United Kingdom. Now, apart from this, some schools that are extremely competitive, like an LBS or an Imperial, would require a couple of additional documents from your side. First one would be your test scores, which are your GMAT or your GRE scores. Now, GRE and GMAT is a standardized exam that tests your English and math skills, right? Now, some schools may be completely indifferent with whichever exam you take, as long as you take it and provide them with a good score. A good score would ideally be somewhere around 670 to 720, right? And deciding which exam to take, GRE or GMAT, would also depend upon the program that you're applying for. So this is all of it from me. Cheers to everyone who is applying or looking to apply. You can reach out to us at leverageedu.com and book a 30-minute free counseling session with our experts. One of our coaches will surely get in touch with you. So goodbye for now and see you all in the next session. Thank you and stay safe, everyone.